Why do your cookies burn at the bottom? I'm a pastry chef and I bake a lot of cookies. Here are some ways to try to avoid that. The type of baking tray that you're going to use does matter. If it's too thin or if it is too dark in color, it will actually heat up a lot faster and then in turn burn the bottoms of your cookies. These do not have to be expensive. Just, if you can kind of like manipulate it and like wiggle it in your hands, it's too flimsy, it's too thin, it's not going to do you any good. Second tip, I never bake cookies straight on the pan. I use two things. I will either use parchment paper. Also, pro tip, you can reuse a sheet of parchment unless it gets all crazy dirty. But if you're just baking a few rounds of cookies, you can use one sheet like up to 5 times. Sustainable. Silicone mats are great too. So this is like an example of a silicone mat to add a little layer of protection for the bottom of any of your baked goods, in this case, cookies. The other tip I would say is if your oven is just running too hot. Sometimes our ovens are not perfectly calibrated. So the best way to do that is just get a little oven thermometer. So if you're trying to do it at 350, but your thermometer says 380, then you know that your oven runs 30 degrees. What is it? Hotter. So adjust accordingly. Also, don't bake anything on the bottom rack. Always make sure that you are baking things as close to the middle rack as possible. If you are baking multiple things and you have to utilize the bottom, make sure that you're rotating your pans. The last piece of advice that I will give, and this is only if you know that no matter what you're doing, your stuff is always prone to somehow burning or getting too dark on the bottom, then this is what you will do. You will heat up your oven till it's ready. Once it's ready, you will open up the oven. You will take an empty pan. You will put it butt side up so that this concave side is on the bottom. Put it on like that. And then you will take your tray of whatever you are baking and place it on top of that. What that's going to do is just provide a little bit of a buffer. The rack that you're putting it on is going to be heated. Those are my tips. If you have questions, let me know. I hope that helps.